So this afternoon as I was driving home from work, I was extremely rudely interrupted by a message from Josh. You know who you are, Josh. And he said, "Hey Darren, I watched a whole bunch of your videos and now I'm not feeling well, and also I can't find the answer to my problem. Do you happen to have one that covers the replacement of the extractors on the Bergara B14R? And I said, "Josh, of course I don't. Leave me alone." Hung up on him and went back to jamming out to "I'm Ken" by Ryan Gosling from the Barbie movie soundtrack, because that's how I roll. Actually, I said, "No, Josh, I don't, but if you give me a couple hours, I'll crank one out for you, because that's actually a good question. Comes up once in a while. I got some other videos on stuff, but not that one." So that's what we're going to do. So this is going to be a couple of steps. Step 1, acquire Bergara B14R. Boom! I did that for you. So, actually, I probably don't want to be booming in my basement, so let's do it without the boom. That wouldn't be good. My wife really didn't like that the first time. So, acquire rifle. Step 2, acquire bolt. And you can do that by pushing the bolt acquisition button on the back of here, side of here. This thing back here that goes in and out a little bit. And the bolt will just fall right out. This is what it looks like. I'm going to put that here. Now, we're going to set this down the side, bring you in close, and show you what to do. Now that we have our bolt removed, we're going to go through the process of removing and reinstalling the extractors. I'm just going to put the same ones back in because, yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with these. Now, there's a couple of reasons you might want to do this. The ones I can think of off the top of my head is, if you drop it in a big pile of mud, there's going to be crud built up in there, getting the springs and the slots and everything. Might get a little sticky, so, maybe you want a deep clean. Maybe you broke something. Who knows? Maybe you just get bored and you're one of those, wild and crazy people that just likes to take things apart and put them back together again and see how they work. That's really what I do. So, we're going to do that here. Actually, we're not going to do it here. We're going to do it here on an extra bolt head that I have. Actually, this might be a subject for a different video. This is an old style bolt head, and you can tell because it's the old style. Actually, the way you can tell is that it has square cuts here, square corners in this cut, and a new style, which is in here. I'm not going to take it apart right now because I got to take kids to basketball practice here in a minute, but these corners are actually radiused. So, different video. Hey Josh, ask me a question about that sometime. So, all you're going to need to do this is a small punch. I actually have two because I'm not entirely sure which size I'm going to use yet. I think this one's a, I don't know, 3 30-seconds, and this one's probably I don't know, smaller, 1/16. No, that can't. Is that really right? Yeah, 1/16. I think the 3 30-seconds will work. We're going to give that a try first. So, what you got to do is push out these two roll pins here. So there's one on the right, if we're looking from behind, right, and one on the left. Now we're going to do this one at a time, and we're going to keep the sides separate because the difference here, so inside of here, there's a spring, and the springs are not the same. One side is relatively stiffer, so the right side is actually a fair amount stiffer than the left side. I don't know of a good way to try to show this, but I'm going to use this punch, and this one takes quite a bit of movement, or quite a bit of pressure to move. This one's pretty easy. It's pretty wiggly. The idea behind that is that the right side is going to more firmly grasp the case head, so when it's coming back and it hits that ejector here, the left side is going to let go first, the right side is going to hold on, and it's going to fling it out the right side of the receiver. That's the idea. So, get your punch, get your hammer, and we're going to tippy-tappy them out of there. I'm actually going to do it from the bottom to the top and see how well that works. So, they shouldn't be in there too terribly tight. So you should be able to just kind of get them tapping. And then I use a little hockey puck here actually. And just tap it on out of there. Now you'll notice what I did is I went ahead and just lost that roll pin right on the floor. Yeah, you can skip that step if you want. So we're going to pull that punch out, and we can just now wiggle this extractor, and it should come right out of there. It should, but it's not. Why is it not? Just needs a little force in there, I think. All right, there we go. So right side, right side. We're going to put them over on the right side of this little handy dandy rubbery thing here. Now, I could go ahead and show you how to do the left side here, but you know what? It's exactly the same as doing the right side. So while you imagine that I'm knocking out the left side here, I'm going to see if I can find that roll pin. Use your imagination. That's some kind of record, actually. I found it right away. All right, so now that you have your, roll pin, your extractor, and your spring, and hopes and dreams and aspirations, and youth and beauty, and all that. Man, I'm tired. What were we doing again? Oh, yeah, let's put it all back together. So, again, we have 3 pieces. There can't be too many combinations, right? So, we're going to drop our spring back in. Now remember, the stiffer spring goes on the right, the stiffer spring on the left. And if I take that out, you can very easily notice there's a difference between the two. So, again, use your imagination. Pretend I did it. And we're going to take our extractor, drop it in there, in the cut in the side. And what I like to do is, while I am kind of holding the whole shebang here, pulled it out too far, use my punch and line up the hole in there. So now it's going to hold it all kind of together, so that when I take my roll pin here and I pull this back down, I can get my roll pin started. And there. And we're just going to give her the old tappy taparoo. And I'm actually going to use my other roll pin punch here to get it started down in there. Put her back down on my block. Thump her back in there. All assembled nice and sharp and shiny again. Okay, one thing you want to check, when I pounded that in there, turn her over, and make sure that roll pin is not protruding out the bottom of the bolt here. That'll give you a little, something to hang up on there. So this one is very gently protruding. Notice this side is not. So I'm going to tap that back down flush a little bit. Nice and smooth across there. And they should not protrude out the top at all either. There you go. That's how you remove and replace your extractor. Now if you're going to, disassemble your bolt, there's no reason to. Don't do that. But if you want to, I got a video on how to do that. Really, it's just drive out this roll pin right here, which sets in this slot right here. Hope that helps, Josh. So through the magic of, splitting and splicing videos and stuff, I actually haven't even done the extractor thing, but we're going to pretend like I did, and I'm going to reassemble all this here. So, now that you've removed and successfully replaced your extractors, you got to reassemble everything. So, step 1, acquire a bolt. Step 2, acquire a rifle without a bolt. Step 3, insert bolt. Step 4, I don't know, put it away and go eat tacos. Thanks, Josh, for the question. Hope this helps some of y'all. get some kids outside because they deserve it.